Hey everyone, Linus here. Today, we're diving into a topic that has frustrated many MacBook users over the years. We've all been there. You're editing a video, playing a game, or just browsing the web, and everything seems to be going smoothly. But then, out of nowhere, your MacBook sounds like a jet engine about to take off. The fans kick into overdrive and the noise is almost deafening. You touch the bottom inside your MacBook and notice that it seems warm enough to fry an egg. It's not just uncomfortable, it's concerning, and worst of all, your once speedy machine slows to a crawl. The lag is unbearable and your productivity takes a hit. Yup, that's the dreaded MacBook Pro overheat. It's a common issue that can turn your high-performance laptop into a sluggish, overheating mess. For years, MacBook users have struggled with this issue. From the earliest models to the latest releases, overheating has been a persistent issue. You shell out a pretty penny for a premium machine, expecting top-notch performance only to have it turn into a space heater. It's frustrating to say the least, but don't worry, you don't need to resort to drastic measures like sticking it in the freezer. Don't do that. It is neither a safe nor an effective solution. There is a resolution, and it is simpler than you may imagine. With a few simple steps, you can significantly reduce the overheating and improve your MacBook's performance. In this guide, we're going to tackle this overheating issue head-on. We'll show you how to open up your MacBook and address the root cause of the problem. One of the most effective solutions is to replace the thermal paste in your MacBook Pro. The thermal paste may dry up and lose efficiency with time, resulting in higher temperatures. We'll walk through the steps to replace the thermal paste in your MacBook Pro, a simple fix that can work wonders for your machine's temperature and performance. By doing this, you'll not only extend the life of your MacBook, but also ensure it runs smoothly and efficiently. Additionally, we'll cover other maintenance tips, such as cleaning out dust from the internals and ensuring proper ventilation. These small steps can make a big difference in keeping your MacBook cool. We'll also explore some external solutions like using a cooling pad or stand, which can help dissipate heat more effectively. By the end of this guide, you'll have all the knowledge you need to keep your MacBook running at its best. No more overheating, no more lag, just smooth, efficient performance. So let's get started and put an end to the dreaded MacBook overheat once and for all. Before we dive into the fix, let's understand why this happens. Your MacBook Pro works hard, and all that processing power generates heat. To prevent damage, it has a cooling system that uses a heat sink and fans to dissipate the heat. The key to this system working effectively is thermal paste. This particular substance is sandwiched between your computer's CPU, or brain, and the heatsink. It acts as a bridge, efficiently transferring heat away from the processor. This thermal paste might dry out over time, causing it to lose effectiveness. When this happens, the heat transfer is compromised, leading to, you guessed it, overheating. Think of thermal paste like the thermal compound we use on PC CPUs, except way less messy. It's a crucial component in the fight against overheating. Without good thermal paste, your MacBook's CPU can't get rid of heat effectively. This leads to those nasty symptoms we talked about. Loud fans, high temperatures, and even performance throttling, where your MacBook intentionally slows itself down to avoid damage from the heat. But don't worry, replacing the thermal paste is a relatively simple fix that can make a world of difference. It's like giving your MacBook a breath of fresh air, or in this case, a fresh layer of thermal conductivity. All right, ready to get your hands dirty? Don't be concerned, it's not as terrifying as it sounds. Here's what you'll need. A tube of thermal paste. Arctic Silver 5 and Noctua NTH1 are popular choices. A precision screwdriver set. You'll need the right size for your MacBook Pro screws. Isopropyl alcohol, 90% or higher. This is for cleaning the old thermal paste. Cotton swabs and microfiber towels can be used to clean and wipe surfaces. A plastic pry tool to help open the MacBook's case. And a clean, well-lit workspace. You'll be working with small parts, so good lighting is key. Once you've gathered your supplies, it's time to move on to the fun part, opening up your MacBook. Opening up your MacBook. This is where the real adventure begins. Now comes the slightly nerve-wracking part, opening your precious MacBook. It's a moment that requires both courage and precision. But trust me, it's not as scary as it seems if you take your time and follow the instructions carefully. Having a clear guide in front of you can make all the difference. First, make sure your MacBook is completely shut down. This is critical to avoiding electrocution. Next, flip it over and locate the pentalobe screws on the bottom case. These tiny screws are the gatekeepers to your MacBook's internals. Using the appropriate screwdriver from your set, carefully unscrew all the screws and keep them organized. It's a good idea to note their positions as you remove them. A magnetic mat or a small container comes in handy here. This will ensure you don't lose any screws, which can be quite frustrating. After removing the screws, use a rubber pry tools to gently take the bottom casing off. This phase requires gentleness and patience. Start at a corner and carefully work your way around the edges. This method helps in avoiding any potential damage to the casing. Remember, patience is key. You don't want to force anything and risk damage. The best outcomes will come from taking a calm and steady approach. With the bottom casing gone, you'll be able to access your MacBook's internals. This is where the magic happens. Take a moment to appreciate the engineering marvel that is your laptop. The intricate design and compact components are truly impressive. Now that you've successfully opened your MacBook, let's move on to the next step. Whether you're upgrading components or performing maintenance, you're now ready to dive deeper into the heart of your device. Make sure you have all of the needed instruments and replacement parts on hand. Organization is key to a smooth and successful repair process. If you're replacing the battery, take note of its position and connections. Carefully disconnect it, ensuring you don't damage any surrounding components. For those updating RAM, carefully remove your current modules and replace them with the new ones. Ensure they are securely fastened. It's also a good opportunity to clean the internals. Use compressed air to remove any dust buildup, which can improve performance and longevity. Once your upgrades or repairs are complete, carefully reassemble your MacBook. Replace the bottom case and secure it with the screws you organized earlier. Turn on your MacBook to confirm everything works properly. Congrats on successfully opening and using your MacBook. Take pride in your accomplishment. You've taken a significant step in understanding and maintaining your device. With repeatedly, this method will become increasingly simple and intuitive. Happy repairing. Applying the thermal paste. This is a crucial step in ensuring your computer runs efficiently and stays cool under pressure. Now we're getting to the heart of the operation, replacing the thermal paste. This process is essential for maintaining optimal thermal conductivity between the CPU and the heatsink. Locate the heatsink, which is a metal plate covering the CPU and GPU. The heatsink plays a vital role in dissipating heat away from these critical components. You'll need to remove a few screws to detach it. Be gentle and methodical to avoid damaging any delicate parts. Again, keep track of the screws. It's a good idea to use a small container or magnetic mat to ensure none of them get lost. When you remove the heatsink, you'll notice that the previously applied thermal paste is still on the CPU and heatsink. This paste has likely dried out and lost its effectiveness over time. Using a cotton swab dipped in isopropyl alcohol, gently clean off the old paste. Take your time to ensure all residue is removed, as leftover paste can hinder the performance of the new application. Make sure you get all of it off. A clean surface is crucial for optimal heat transfer. Any leftover residue can form air pockets, limiting thermal paste efficiency. Once the surfaces are clean and dry, it's time to apply the new thermal paste. This step is critical for ensuring your CPU remains cool and operates efficiently. You only need just a few P's in the CPU's center. This small amount will spread out evenly under the pressure of the heatsink, covering the entire surface. Don't spread it around. The pressure from the heatsink will distribute it evenly. Spreading it manually can introduce air bubbles, which can reduce thermal conductivity. With caution, reinstall the heatsink on the central processor and screw it in place. Make sure it lies flat and has solid contact with its CPU. Make sure all the screws are secured properly, but don't over-tighten them. Over-tightening can damage the motherboard or the heat sink itself, leading to poor performance or even hardware failure. Once everything is secured, reassemble your laptop. Double-check that all components are in place and that there are no leftover screws. Turn on the computer to confirm that everything is operating properly. If the system boots up without any issues, you've successfully applied the thermal paste. Finally, monitor the CPU temperatures using software to ensure that the new thermal paste is doing its job. You should see a noticeable improvement in temperature management. Congratulations, you've completed the thermal paste application process. Your laptop is now better equipped to handle intensive tasks without overheating. Putting Humpty back together. With the new thermal paste applied and the heatsink secured, it's time to put your MacBook back together. Carefully align the bottom case and press down firmly around the edges until you hear it click back into place. Finally, screw in all the pentalobe screws you removed earlier. Make sure they are all securely fastened, but don't over-tighten them. Congratulations, you've successfully replaced the thermal paste in your MacBook Pro. Now for the moment of truth, let's see if it made a difference. Did it work? Let's check those temps. Power on your MacBook and let it boot up completely. Now run a demanding application or game that usually causes your MacBook to heat up. While it's running, keep an eye on the CPU temperature. You can use a free app like Fanny to monitor your CPU temperature. Compare how hot it was before and after replacing the thermal paste. If all went well, you should see a noticeable decrease in temperature. The difference might not be huge, but even a few degrees Celsius can make a big difference in how your MacBook performs and how long the fans run. Plus, knowing you've given your trusty machine a new lease on life is a pretty good feeling. Feeling hot? Not your MacBook. So there you have it, a comprehensive guide to banishing MacBook overheating by replacing the thermal paste. It might seem daunting at first, but with a little patience and the right tools, anyone can do it. Not only will this fix potentially save you from a costly repair bill, but it can also extend the life of your MacBook Pro with making sure it continues to work effectively for many years to come. And let's be honest, who doesn't love a bit of DIY satisfaction? Now go forth, my fellow Mac enthusiasts, and conquer that overheating beast. And while you're at it, why not share your results in the comments below? Let's spread the thermal paste love.